So one of my favorite movements for hip strength, hip stability, and hip mobility is the Flamingo. I used to call this the Celtic Flamingo because of where I came from, and I called it the funky Flamingo. Now it's just the Flamingo. As you might guess, the Flamingo spends quite a bit of time on one leg, and that's where we are going to spend quite a bit of time on one leg. The concept behind the Flamingo is to address multi-directional or positional stability, great overall hip strength. The stronger our hips, the better our back health, the better our posture all the time, and the less stress the knees have to take. Let's take the Flamingo in 4 stages. We'll look at the 4 different elements and stages. The first one, many people are familiar with, is the what you might call a single leg deadlift or a deep hinge. I'm standing on one leg, I grip the floor, squeeze the glutes. All I'm doing is reaching my hips back behind me, putting back up. That might look more like pushing the leg back. Okay. What it is not is this, then that. That puts all your balance too far forward and you'll fall over. So you want to counterbalance, and a bit of the theme here is counterbalance as well. So the foot goes back, the hips go back, and over. That's level 1. You practice the single leg deadlift or the single leg hinge until you feel you've got that. You might need to really tension up your midsection, your abs, to connect your pelvis and your rib cage to give you more of a cohesive movement. Once you have that, level 2, we add on a front raise in the leg. It's not a kick. You're not Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan unless you want to be, pretend to be. So again, I put on a single leg deadlift. I stay on this leg and I raise this leg in front of me. Pointy heels, bent, straight, whatever you can do without leaning backwards. Let's look at it from the side. Stage 1, 2. So we're not necessarily leaning back. Try to keep this leg straight and strong as you lift that leg up. And play with alternate sides. Leg back, leg forward, swap legs. Do the minimal number of reps to get familiar with the movement. Level 1, level 2, level 3. This gets fun now. So yet again, we start with the hinge. Front raise. My torso's going to go that way and my leg's going to go that way. Again, pointy toes, pointy heel. It's not a side kick, it's a side leg raise with a counterbalance. So it is not that. Apart from looking silly, it doesn't really do an awful lot apart from irritate the hip here perhaps. So I start hinging to the side, leg goes out. How far? That's up to you. The leg that's supporting you will work a lot, but also the muscles on the side of this hip will also work an awful lot as well. So you will feel both hips doing quite a bit of work. Let's put that together. Leg back, leg forward, counterbalance, leg side. How big a movement? Up to you. Leg back, leg forward, counterbalance to the side. Shake the legs out as we go into the final stage, which is fun. Adding a movement you might describe as the curtsy. I'll go straight to that, and then we'll add on the other previous bits we've looked at. Standing on one leg, I take the leg behind me, and I reach it out that way. A little bit of counterbalance, so I'm going that way a little bit, and the foot goes that way. Let's do the other side. How far you go, that depends on you and how the hip feels. There's a little bit of pelvic rotation, that's fine, there's meant to be, as you rotate out. That's the curtsy, level 4. Let's stick those 4 things together. So our right leg supporting me, I'm doing the hip hinge, I'm doing the leg forward, I'm doing the counterbalance, leg to the side, straight to the curtsy. Other side. Grip that floor, get tense. It helps to keep your eyes focused on one spot on the floor. Except when you go to the side, it's helpful to look at the foot. And then the curtsy. Didn't need the floor to touch there. Almost lost it. A final element, as you're working through each of those levels, let's go back to level 1. I like to come back up and make sure I'm not bluffing before I change my leg. I stay in one foot and I stay there until I really feel that backside working. Not too much, just enough. So we can do that in all those levels. With the hinge, if I add on from level 2, I'm going to the front ways, bring the leg back in again. Let's be sure that hip is doing what's meant to be doing. Level 3, of course, leg back, leg forward, leg to the side, come back in, make sure we're not bluffing, get that balance. And again, level 4, so you want to add on the extra balance aspect at the end of the whole set. Whoop. Curtsy. Stability. You might do 10 seconds, you might just stay there until you feel you've got good balance. That is a flamingo. Practice level 1, the leg going back. Practice level 1 and 2, the leg back and the leg forward. Level 3, back, forward, out to the side. Level 4, backwards, forwards, side, curtsy. The exact order doesn't matter. I just took it in terms of the easiest levels to add on. That can be quite hard for some people compared to the hinge. That's why, because that particular order. You could of course play combining all of those into one movement. You might, for example, start in the back, work all the way to the front, go all the way around again, back into the curtsy, pull back up and pause, or change direction. You might then just go, you might start with the curtsy, around, pull back in, you can add in the hinge again. You can play with, there's no wrong unless there's pain. Play with all that three-dimensional movement and keeping that hip doing the work. Don't take it to a point of exhaustion in the hips or mental focus. Just practice a little bit. That's a flamingo. Get that a crack and let me know how it goes for you. Any questions or problems or suggestions of another direction? If you think the leg should go somewhere else, let's look at that. If you think this, that, and that is a good idea, do that. Let me know how it goes. You have the license to make the flamingo your own. You can call it something different if you wanted. Thanks for watching. Any feedback, do get back to me.